The Marvel Cinematic Universe just dropped the absolute biggest bombshell in the history of comic book movies. Forget everything you thought you knew about the future of the multiverse saga and its ultimate grand conclusion. The Kang Dynasty has been officially erased from the Marvel Studios slate entirely. In its place stands a massive movie title that has completely shattered the internet and sent wild shockwaves through the global fandom. Welcome to Hollywood Talks, your premium destination for the absolute deepest movie breakdowns. Today, we are diving headfirst into Avengers Doomsday, analyzing the official facts, the mind-bending theories, and this historic pivot in modern storytelling. If you want to stay entirely ahead of the curve on all things Marvel, make sure to smash that like button right now. Share this video with your friends and subscribe to Hollywood Talks immediately. At San Diego Comic-Con, Kevin Feige walked onto the Hall H stage and completely rewrote the cinematic rulebook. The announcement of Avengers Doomsday confirmed that Marvel is finally bringing out their ultimate, most legendary heavy hitter. We are absolutely talking about Victor Von Doom, the undisputed greatest villain in Marvel Comics history. But the true shock came from the legendary directors stepping back into the fray to helm this incredibly massive project. The Russo Brothers, the brilliant minds behind Infinity War and Endgame, are officially returning to direct Avengers Doomsday. They are the only filmmakers proven capable of successfully handling a cinematic crossover of this colossal, unprecedented magnitude. The Russos know exactly how to balance massive ensemble casts while delivering truly devastating emotional stakes. Bringing them back was Marvel's first absolute masterstroke in ensuring that this next Avengers-level event actually meets high fan expectations. But the returning directors were just the appetizer for the most insane casting reveal of the entire decade. A mysterious figure dressed in Dr. Doom's iconic green robes and silver mask stepped out directly from the dark shadows. When the metal mask finally came off, the entire world gasped in absolute collective disbelief. Robert Downey Jr., the legendary man who birthed the MCU as Tony Stark, is officially returning to play Dr. Victor Von Doom. This is definitely not fake news. This is not a random rumor. This is the official reality we are currently living in. Marvel Studios has made the boldest casting choice in cinematic history to truly save the multiverse saga. So, how does this actually work within the established logic of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is this simply an evil Tony Stark from another universe? Or is he playing a completely separate, entirely new character altogether? Let us carefully break down the most prominent theories based purely on comic book lore and official announcements. The Russo brothers specifically introduced him on stage as Victor Von Doom, completely ignoring the famous Tony Stark name entirely. This heavily implies that Robert Downey Jr. is actually playing a true, authentic variant of Victor Von Doom, not just a corrupted Iron Man. He might simply share the exact same physical face as Earth 616's Tony Stark. In the incredibly vast, infinite expanse of the multiverse, random genetic lotteries can easily produce identical individuals with completely different lives. This is a genuinely brilliant way to weaponize the audience's deep nostalgia and emotional connection directly against them. Imagine the intense psychological damage inflicted on Tom Holland's Spider-Man when he finally meets the terrifying new big bad. Peter Parker will look into the eyes of his beloved, fallen mentor, only to find a ruthless, cold-blooded dictator staring back. Another incredibly massive theory draws heavy inspiration directly from the infamous Iron Man comic book storyline. In that specific run, Victor Von Doom actually takes up the heroic mantle of Iron Man in an honest attempt to find redemption. The MCU could completely invert this established narrative for Avengers Doomsday to utterly shock the global audience. We might see a tragic universe where an arrogant Tony Stark made a crucial mistake, ultimately becoming a darker, absolute tyrant. However, we must absolutely consider the upcoming Fantastic Four First Steps movie, which is officially confirmed to take place in a retro alternate universe. This is exactly where Dr. Doom's true, authentic origin story must ultimately begin. Victor Von Doom is fundamentally tied directly to Reed Richards, sharing a brilliantly toxic but intensely bitter collegiate rivalry. You absolutely cannot have a truly comic-accurate Doctor Doom without first clearly establishing his deep, constantly simmering hatred for Mr. Fantastic. The Fantastic Four are officially confirmed to appear directly in Avengers Doomsday, making them the central narrative bridge. They will highly likely be the vital ones to urgently warn the main MCU timeline about the terrifying threat that Doom actually poses. We know Doom is the absolute monarch of Latveria, a sovereign nation he rules with a heavy iron fist. He is a master of advanced technology, completely rivaling and often effortlessly surpassing the legendary genius of Tony Stark. But what truly makes Doom an incredible, Avengers-level threat is his absolute mastery of the mystic arts. He is a genuinely brilliant sorcerer, a powerful man who actually challenges Doctor Strange for the esteemed title of Sorcerer Supreme. This incredibly lethal combination of bleeding-edge science and ancient, deeply dark magic makes Victor Von Doom virtually unstoppable. Unlike Thanos, who relied heavily on absolute brute strength and the Infinity Stones, Doom relies entirely on his own terrifying intellect. Doom does not believe he is the actual villain of the story. He genuinely believes he is the ultimate savior. He has looked into the future and stubbornly determined that the absolute only timeline where humanity survives is the exact one he rules. This perfectly brings us to the ultimate core conflict of the multiverse saga and the terrifying phenomenon known directly as incursions. An incursion violently occurs when two separate universes forcibly collide, utterly destroying both fragile realities and literally everyone living inside them. The powerful Illuminati and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness already urgently warned us about this impending, absolutely cataclysmic threat. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is currently heading rapidly toward a total, completely unavoidable structural collapse of reality itself. With Kang the Conqueror officially removed from the overarching narrative entirely, the remaining vacuum of absolute power is incredibly massive. The Council of Kangs is highly likely going to be completely decimated off-screen, perhaps even brutally slaughtered by Doctor Doom himself. Imagine a thrilling cold open for Avengers Doomsday where Doom single-handedly eradicates the entire Council of Kangs. This would immediately establish his truly terrifying power levels and clearly show the audience that he is a vastly superior, world-ending threat. Doom will inevitably realize that the vast multiverse is actively dying and that the remaining Avengers are completely powerless to stop it. He will actively take it upon himself to brutally steal the ultimate power necessary to save tiny fragments of dying creation. In the legendary Secret Wars comic book run brilliantly written by Jonathan Hickman, Doctor Doom actually does exactly this. He successfully steals the omnipotent powers of the Beyonders, an ancient race of powerful beings capable of easily destroying entire infinite realities. With this newly stolen, absolute godlike power, Doom barely manages to salvage heavily broken pieces of fully destroyed universes during the final incursion. He physically stitches these shattered realities perfectly together, creating a singular, bizarre patchwork planet known entirely as Battle World. On this incredibly twisted planet, Victor Von Doom boldly declares himself God Emperor Doom, ruling over absolutely everyone with unquestioned authority. He heavily alters the memories of all the surviving heroes, forcefully making them blindly worship him as their supreme, divine creator. This is exactly the epic, mind-blowing storyline that Avengers Doomsday is actively setting up for the grand cinematic finale. The movie will clearly serve as the tragic, completely unavoidable downfall of the heroes, heavily mirroring the deep despair of Avengers Infinity War. The brave Avengers will ultimately fail to successfully stop the final, devastating incursion from completely wiping out the main Marvel Cinematic Universe. They will watch helplessly as their beloved reality completely shatters, perfectly setting the truly terrifying stage for the massive Avengers Secret Wars. The deep emotional weight of this colossal failure will be profoundly amplified by Robert Downey Jr.'s incredible, nuanced return. Seeing the ultimate, highly revered symbol of MCU heroism actively acting as the cold architect of their total destruction is pure cinematic genius. We must also carefully look at exactly how this incredibly massive shift profoundly impacts the existing, veteran characters waiting patiently. Respected heroes like Sam Wilson's Captain America and Captain Marvel have absolutely never truly faced a cosmic threat with this terrifying malice. Doctor Doom actively plays brilliant, four-dimensional chess while the powerful Avengers are simply throwing heavy punches at whatever physical threat is directly in front. He will actively divide and easily conquer the struggling heroes, ruthlessly exploiting their deepest insecurities and constantly manipulating their fragile alliances. There is also the massive, lingering question of exactly how the growing mutant population will effectively factor directly into Doom's overarching master plan. Deadpool and Wolverine officially open the vital door for legendary X-Men characters to finally bleed entirely over into the main cinematic continuity. We could easily see Doctor Doom actively targeting incredibly powerful mutants to violently siphon their special abilities purely for his own grand designs. This could finally push the remaining Avengers and the surviving X-Men into a desperate, highly uneasy alliance simply to survive his brutal onslaught. Let us absolutely not forget the highly crucial, mysterious magical corner of the vast Marvel Universe, currently meticulously overseen by the Fractured Masters. Wong and Doctor Strange will undoubtedly sense the truly overwhelming, ancient dark magic fiercely radiating directly from Victor Von Doom's mere physical presence. An epic magical duel between Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom would absolutely be an unparalleled, stunning visual masterpiece displayed on the massive big screen. The violent collision of ancient sorcery and highly destructive Latvian technology will utterly push the very boundaries of modern visual cinematic effects. Another incredibly fascinating angle is Doom's highly potential, hostile interactions with Wakanda and their absolutely incredible vibranium technology. Doom would certainly view Wakanda as a highly legitimate, dangerous rival nation that absolutely needs to be systematically dismantled and completely conquered. A massive, intense political and highly militaristic clash between the Black Panther's powerful forces and Doom's seemingly endless army of Doombots is essential. It perfectly showcases that Doomsday will truly be a massive, global, brutal multi-front war rather than just a simple, neatly contained, isolated battle. Many hardcore fans are urgently wondering if Robert Downey Jr. will actually willingly wear the highly iconic, intimidating metal mask for the entire runtime, given his undeniable global star power. Marvel will highly likely find creative ways to clearly show his famous face while maintaining the terrifying aura, the highly tragic facial scarring that ultimately drives Victor Von Doom deep into his heavy metal armor must be handled with utmost respect. It is the direct physical manifestation of his massive, highly fragile ego and his stubborn inability to simply accept his own tragic human imperfections. Whether the deep scarring originally comes from a highly dangerous, totally failed experiment with Reed Richards or a very dark magical ritual remains unseen. But that deeply rooted vanity is exactly what truly makes him such a beautifully complex, highly compelling, and utterly dangerous movie antagonist. The brilliant Russo brothers have a highly proven, fantastic track record of effectively making terrifying villains the actual protagonists of their own tragic stories. Just like they brilliantly did with Thanos. We might easily end up spending a massive amount of precious screen time intensely following Doom's perspective. We will deeply see his truly tragic motivations, his twisted sense of ultimate cosmic justice, and the incredibly heavy burdens he bravely chooses. This incredibly bold narrative choice brilliantly forces the captive audience to deeply understand him, even while being absolutely horrified by his brutal methods. Avengers Doomsday is absolutely not just another simple, standard superhero sequel taking place in a rapidly expanding, highly chaotic cinematic universe. It is a massive, highly desperate, and entirely necessary cinematic rescue mission specifically designed for the absolute survival of the entire Marvel brand. Marvel Studios is actively, heavily betting everything they currently have on this specific, epic comic storyline to successfully reignite the massive, fiery passion. They are boldly promising a genuinely unparalleled, mind-blowing cinematic experience that will heavily redefine blockbuster cinema and change pop culture discourse forever. The intricate road to Doomsday will highly likely be carefully paved with subtle, hidden clues, and massive post-credit scenes in upcoming Marvel projects. Keep your eyes carefully peeled during Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts for any hidden whispers of rising Latvian political involvement. We are officially entering the absolute darkest, most thrilling, and most unpredictable era the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever dared to explore. The bright age of heroic miracles is truly, completely over, and the terrifying era of absolute, undeniable doom has finally, inevitably begun. What do you actually think about Robert Downey Jr. returning to play Doctor Doom, and how will he defeat the current Avengers roster? Drive your wildest, most insane theories and comic book predictions down in the comments section below right now so we can discuss. If you genuinely enjoyed this incredibly deep dive into Avengers Doomsday, you absolutely must hit that like button to support the growing channel. It really, truly helps us actively bring you more highly detailed original movie breakdowns and exclusive cinematic theories every single week without fail. Do not forget to instantly share this highly informative video with every single hardcore Marvel fan you know to spread these incredible theories. Let us genuinely get absolutely everyone properly hyped and prepared for the absolute biggest, most devastating cinematic event of this entire modern decade.